Hi again. Now we have completed this chapter of training, and we are supposed to head towards the chapter of performance management, performance appraisal. Just look at the content of module number 3. The training part we have completed. Second paragraph, if you see, introduction to performance appraisal. What are the techniques? What are the methods? Organizational demands and performance management, and linkage of performance appraisal with motivation at work and the case study is what we are going to discuss in this module. But if you remember, the evaluation part, like I told you in the last session, that one diagram is left, Jim Kirkpatrick's model I wanted to show you, but I was missing that slide was missing from my presentation. Let us quickly begin with that, and then we will move on to the performance appraisal. That is our new chapter, next chapter number 9. Okay, this is the slide we saw actually in the last chapter, evaluating training, the Tata Business Support Services model, and they have adopted Jim Kirkpatrick's framework. So, what is this framework actually? Look at this. These are the levels of training evaluation that I am talking about. Can you see 4 levels over here? First one, look at the bottom. First one is the reaction. Second one is the learning. Third one is the behavior, and fourth one is the result. This is one of the ideal way of actually evaluating the training program, because see, whenever you are evaluating a training program, it is not necessary that immediately somebody's behavior is going to change. That is practically impossible, because how can you just change the behavior of a person permanently, right? So that cannot be immediately happening after the training. But once the individual starts to put the same learning into practice, let's say if somebody is doing anger management, now it's not possible that just after attending, let's say, 1 week's training, you are just completely going to avoid doing anger. It's not possible, right? That suddenly your nature has changed, your behavior has changed. But whatever you have learned in that anger management course or program, whenever, let's say, you feel like getting angry, or you are upset with some situation and you want to react through the anger, then what will you do? You will go back and you will always remember what you learned, right? You might remember how you were asked to control the anger, or manage the anger or overcome those feelings, and then immediately you will change your thought and you will put the same thing into practice, and so you will not get angry. So when you start practicing this thing for couple of times for some period, then you will actually get into the habit of handling the situation. So same thing happens over here. First thing is reaction. Now, what kind of questions you can ask when you're evaluating? Did the trainees like the program, the trainers, the facilities? Do they think that the course was useful? What improvements can they suggest? So, first thing you want to know is the reaction, the feedback, immediate feedback. Did the trainees like the program? Yes, no, maybe you can rate. So how do I identify? Give them the questionnaires. And in fact, this you must have seen happening in so many programs. Even you as a student, let's say if you have participated in a seminar or some program, then immediately after the completion of that program, they distribute a questionnaire, because they want to know your feedback, whether you liked it or not, whether it was helpful to you. Did you like the trainer? Is this going to help you improve? So all these are the basic questions that anybody wants to know. It's called an immediate feedback. So first thing is your reaction, immediate reaction. Then second level is learning. Now what have you learned? To what extent do trainees have greater knowledge or skill after the training program than they did before? So now we are talking about the learning part. What is the difference? What skills they had before, and now what about the skills after? So how to find out what is the measure? Maybe you can take the written test, maybe you can take the performance test, maybe you can see the grades, maybe you can see the, but means graded simulations. So then you will understand what are the learning, what is the learning. Next one is the behavior. Now after that you can see what are the behavioral changes. So see, what questions can be asked. Now, are trainees behaving differently on the job after training? Are they using the skills and knowledge they learned in the training, right? Let's say if you're sending a group of people outside for a training program with the objective to learn teamwork. Now they were definitely helping each other because they were under training, and they were trying to fulfill a task because it was a team based activity. But what is happening when they come back? Was it just limited to the program or the activity which they took under the training, or when they come back they have the same feeling? They just understand that if they help each other, then the work will become faster. So are the trainees behaving differently? How can you know this? What are the measures? Performance appraisal by superior, peer, client, subordinate. So performance appraisal can be one of the measure through which we can understand and identify the behavioral changes in the employee. And last one is the result. Is the organization or unit better because of the training? Is it better? How to identify? Let's say accidents. Have the accidents reduced? Quality has been improved, productivity has been improved, turnover has been reduced, morale is high, cost is low, profits are high, right? So these are the basic measures which is talking about the success of the organization in general. So this is one of the nicest way of actually evaluating any kind of training program. First you see the reaction, then you note the learning, then you try and check the behavior, and finally see the result organization wide. So this is how the training programs can be evaluated if you are following Jim Kirkpatrick's model. But once again I said that it completely depends on the organization, what kind of training evaluation you want to use, right? Some of them might be just following the questionnaire, or some of them might be using some extensive way of evaluating the training program. So that is called these are the levels of training evaluation. Now, chapter number 9, we are going to discuss about performance appraisal. Again, so many times I've uttered this word performance appraisal, so little bit you might know about the performance appraisal. We will start this chapter with a small story which I would like to narrate. So, I'll be happy if you pay a little attention and listen to the little story that I want to share. Okay, the name of the story is called Honeybee's War. Or the honeybees are fighting. There is a war going on between them, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now there's this organization, there's this company which is called Bees Incorporation, right? There's this big corporation which is called Bees Inc, Bees Incorporation, and the CEO of the company is called Queen Bee. So Queen Bee, bee means honeybee. I'm talking about. Now there are two teams, who are working in this organization. Two major teams that is working in, or we can say departments under the company. One is department A, which is led by honeybee A, and one is department B, which is led by honeybee B. So there are these two leaders, honeybee leaders in the company. Now what is happening is the quality of the honey which this company is producing is great. It's really nice, and because of a good quality product, its demand has increased recently. So to fulfill that demand, what company has to do is increase the production, right? Because if you have good demand in the market, that means obviously you want to increase the production. So same thing is the goal for this company also. Now Queen Bee is calling both of these bees from both the departments, bee hive A and bee hive 2, that is A and B, calling both the leaders for a meeting. And it has been communicated to both the leaders that look, there is a good demand of our products in the market, and that's why we have to increase the production in the period of 3 months, honeybee production in a period of 3 months. And Queen Bee is also giving flexibility to both the bees, bee leaders A and B that whatever measures you want to take, whatever rules you want to form, or whatever awards you want to give, you decide. It is up to you, but I would like to see the results. That's it. That is a clear communication which has been done for both the beehives A and B. Now both of them are happy. They have a target to achieve, a task to perform. Now they are going back and they are also calling for a meeting. Now both of them are separately trying to communicate the same to their members, team members. Now Beehive A is telling all the honeybees that look, there is something that we are required to do, right? I will tell you. Like what you are supposed to do is from now on you are going to visit more number of flowers, right? Basically, I mean, little bit if you know about the how honey is produced. So basically, you must have seen honeybees buzzing on the flowers. So what they do is they try and collect the nectar. You know, nectar is a substance which is helpful in forming the honey production, right? It's naturally done by honeybees, but basically they try and collect the nectar from the flowers. So that's why you mostly see honeybees buzzing on the flowers. Now this honeybee A is sharing with all the honeybees that from now on you are required to visit more number of flowers, and there is an award attached also for this, because you need to motivate the honeybees also, your employees also, right? So the leader A B is sharing with all the members that whoever will visit the highest number of flowers in 1 month, they will be awarded. So everybody is very happy. Again, everybody has got a target. It is not a lazy day or lazy time anymore, but they have the target to achieve. Clearly, they have been told that from now onwards, you have to visit more number of flowers. So everybody is very happy and everybody started the work, because the target is right in front of you and you want to, of course, earn the rewards also. Now coming to department B. So this honeybee B, that honeybee is also calling the meeting, and that honeybee is trying to tell to these honeybees that look, from now on we have to work hard because we have to increase the production, right? So that's why all of us will work together towards achieving this goal, and we will be working hard to increase the production, and there are some rewards also attached to this. So whoever will collect the highest amount of nectar, they will be rewarded, right? So they are also getting some clear communication that whoever will be collecting highest amount of nectar, they will be rewarded. And also if you perform well in a team, then there is a separate award for you. So for a group, so whatever group earnings are, group, you will be given group incentives, right? So there is also something wherein if you are helping each other, then group incentives are also there. Now both the honeybees are happy. Again, they have a target to achieve and everybody is getting on to work. Now everybody is busy, time is passing, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, right? Everybody is collecting and working very hard, collecting nectars and forming honey, and production is going on. Now after 3 months, you know, it's time to see what has happened, like how much production has taken place. So first come beehive A. Now honeybee A, the leader, is assessing the performance, means is trying to see the production, and is obviously having high hopes from all the honeybees, because a reward was also communicated that whoever will visit more number of flowers will be rewarded. So then yes, the results are ready. There are honeybees who have actually visited more number of flowers, but the the leader honeybee A is shocked to see the production result. The production has gone down worse than what it was before. Beehive, the bee lady BA, the leader lady BA is in shock. How did this happen? And she is furious. She is very angry and very upset. She just got the shock that how is it possible that I can see the result that so many honeybees have visited so many flowers, but there is no nectar. No production. What is happening? Then she is expressing her disappointment that we were supposed to increase the production, but this is very bad. Now all the honeybees are so upset again, upset with the leader. You know what they said? They said that you could have told us what was the goal. You never shared with us. All you said was visit highest number of flowers, which we did. If you had told us that we had to increase the production, then we would have done accordingly. You know what these honeybees did? Whenever they collect the nectar from the flower, they become heavy. If they become heavier, obviously they cannot run faster or fly faster. If they are competing, if they have to visit more number of flowers, then obviously they would prefer that they remain light. They don't want to collect the nectar, and that's what they did. Just because the target was to visit more number of flowers, they did visit. It was recorded, but they never collected the nectar so that they don't become heavier and then they fly faster. And if they see, if some of them saw a very big field full of flowers, they did not even share with others because they felt that others, they'll get a competition. So they were hiding though that important information also. So it was such a big waste. Everybody were very disappointed. Everybody was very disappointed, and it was a sad thing that happened. Now what happened on the other side? So in the other department, for with honeybee bee, you know honeybee bee was very happy because the production was really high, much better than what was expected. What happened was, because the reward was very clear, the reward which was to be offered was very clear, that every honeybee is supposed to collect highest amount of nectar, and whoever is collecting highest amount of nectar will be rewarded. So they were really trying hard to collect as much nectar as possible in the 3 months. And there was also a group team award which was attached to that. So then everybody were helping each other. They were just passing the nectar from one to another to another to another. And if they saw a field full of flowers, then they would just tell others that, come, this is the place from where all of us can get a lot of nectar. So now the queen bee, who is the CEO, has communicated same information, but two different leaders took it differently. One person shared the goals and decided the rewards accordingly, and other person does not share the goal and decided the reward accordingly. The result is right in front of you. Now what we are going to learn from this is, whenever we are having some target to achieve, that goals should be clearly communicated to the employees, and then their performance should be assessed, because there is some standard which has been set. At least communicate the goal and give them a chance to achieve it, and then see whether they have done it or not, right? But if you do not communicate the goals clearly to the employees, and then you say end of the year that they did not perform well, then how will they perform well? That's why it is very, very essential that whatever goals are there, whatever target is, or whatever goal of the organization is, whatever your vision is, employees should be part of it. Then they will work hard. They will exactly know what are they working towards, what are they trying to achieve. It is very important. So performance appraisal and performance management, both of them, both in both of for both of them, first you should do is communicate the goal, then set some standards, then measure the performance of the employees, and then give them either rewards or punish them if it's not done. So this is how the performance appraisals are done, clearly communicating the goal, and then measuring their performance, whether they have done it well or not. Now the difference is right in front of you, as I shared the story of two different groups who had been passed two different types of information. It's right in front of you, right? Okay, so with this introductory case story, now let us move ahead towards the formal part of the chapter. Please go through the slide, then we can discuss further. All right. Now, see, employees are the most important and valuable sources for an organization's growth and progress. Therefore, an organization needs to motivate and reward its employees from time to time in order to ensure their continuous performance. Performance appraisal is one such mechanism that not only helps an organization to understand the abilities and competencies of its employees but also motivates them for improving their current performance level. So, this is what performance appraisal is, right? It is a mechanism which not only helps the organization to understand the abilities and competencies of the employees but also motivate them for improving their current performance levels. It is a process of analyzing the past performance and future potential of the employees. So, you can, of course, analyze the past performance and future potential of the employees. The performance of employees can be analyzed on the basis of various parameters. So, what are those parameters? Such as hard work, quantity of output produced, the quality of work done, responsibilities undertaken, initiatives, regularity, and punctuality. So these are the parameters on the basis of which employees' performance can be evaluated. Now that will be decided by the company on the basis of the requirement that they have. But in general, the performance of the employees can be analyzed on the basis of all these parameters like hard work, quantity of the output produced, quality of the work done, responsibilities undertaken, any other initiatives you have taken as a part of your job, regularity and punctuality. So mainly it covers everything. Alright, now introduction to appraising performance. According to Dale Beach, now here comes the definition. Performance appraisal is the systematic evaluation of the individual with regards to his or her performance on the job and his potential for development, right? Very simple. It is when we are talking about appraising the performance means we are trying to evaluate the individual's performance on the job and how is the potential for the development in the future. Now there are two things. The name of the module is performance management, and under that we are discussing the chapter of performance appraisal. So what is the difference between the two? I'm going to first read performance management. See, it is an integrated approach to ensuring that an employee's performance supports and contributes to the organization's strategic aims. An integrated approach to ensure that an organization's performance supports and contributes to the organization's strategic aim. So it is overall, it is like it is a wider concept, and under that comes performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is very clear: setting work standards, assessing the performance, and providing feedback to the employees to motivate, correct, and continue their performance, right? So here it is very clear: you set some standards, you try and assess the performance, and you provide feedback to the employees to motivate, correct, and continue their performance. All right. Now, what are the objectives of performance appraisal? Take a minute and please go through the slide. All right. First one, performance appraisal helps in determining the training and development needs of employees by assessing performance gaps. So, if there are any performance gap, right? Let's say that there is a standard set, and end of the year or whenever during the year you are trying to assess the performance, so you will automatically come to know how an individual, an employee is performing. If they're not performing good, if there is some problem, then obviously you will be able to identify the training and development needs. If so many employees together in the team are not able to perform well, that means certain training they need. So performance appraisal helps in determining the training and development needs of the employees. Second point, it focuses on developing new skills of the employees so that they may hold various key positions in the future. So you can develop new skills looking at the result of the performance appraisals, and you would know that yeah, this employee has some potential. So if you develop some new skills, help them develop some new skills, then they can definitely take up some important positions in the future. Performance appraisal provides an effective feedback to the employees, which in turn helps them to improve their performance. So it's not only about giving them rewards, giving them training, or giving them punishment. Every employee also needs some kind of feedback. So you can always interact with them, tell them, help them, that how they can improve their performance in the future. And also this kind of exercises motivate them. They feel that yeah, at least if they are working hard, if they are doing good, then they are getting some rewards and some returns. So effective feedback is very essential, which is possible with the help of performance appraisals. It helps an organization to decide the compensation and incentives to be paid to its employees. So it also helps an organization to decide the compensation and incentives to be paid to its employees. Performance appraisal helps in reducing internal conflicts and grievances among the employees. So internal conflicts and grievances can be avoided because everybody will get reward, or everybody will get some feedback or some return on the basis of individual performance appraisal. So these are the objectives of performance appraisal. Now next, what we are going to discuss is the process of performance appraisal. So how does performance appraisal goes by in the company? First thing, establishing performance standards. It's always essential that before you start performance appraisal, at least some standard should be set, that this was expected from the employee to fulfill or to perform in 1 year period of time or any particular period of time. So for every department, for every position, for every project, right, some standards should be determined, so at least it becomes easy to compare with the standards. So first thing, establish performance standards. Second thing, communicating the standards. Communication is very important. Now we just discussed this small case in the very beginning about this honeybee war, right? Every organization, like one group did not set the standards and did not communicate the standards, while the second group set the standards, right? It was sure that production has to be increased and communicate the same to the honeybees, so they exactly know what they are required to achieve. Step number 3, determining personnel responsible for conducting performance appraisal. Then what you do is, after you communicate, there should be a team or an individual, mostly from the HR department, who will be responsible for conducting the performance appraisals. So they should be involved. The next one, measuring the performance. Then yeah, you try and measure the performance. Now it becomes easier because your standards are set, so now you try and measure the performance of the individuals. Now how to measure? So there are methods of performance appraisal about how to do it. How to see the performance, whether how to measure the performance. So there are a number of ways in which it can be done. Earlier in the past, there were some methods which were used by the companies, and now there are some modern methods also, future oriented methods we call them, which are used in the organization nowadays. So I will just take you through some of the methods which are important. Next step, communicating the results of appraisal to the concerned employees. So after you measure the performance, then you are trying to obviously compare the results with the standards. Now what you should be doing is communicate the result of appraisal to the concerned persons and take corrective actions whenever necessary. So sometimes what happens is like, there is one method which is called annual confidential report, which was used to perform to assess the performance of individuals, and it was used in the government organizations also for government employees. Now in this kind of method of performance appraisal, what happens is the report is kept confidential. you know some people will get the appraisal as in किसी को promotion मिल जाता है, किसी को salary में raise मिल जाता है, किसी को ज़्यादा मिलता है, किसी को कम मिलता है, but nobody knows on what basis these were given, right? Then what is the point? People will never come to know where they were lacking, what is the scope of improvement, right? So that's why such methods are not so much great. Ideally, the method should be such wherein whatever the results be, at least you are honest, you maintain equality, and you give proper feedback to the employees, because they are waiting to hear. They want to know what they can do better next time to earn hike in the salary, or let's say to get some raise, to get some benefits, some more incentives, like if they're lacking somewhere, what should they do better? So that this is where the seniors, the supervisors, or this is where the managers, or this is where the performance appraisal committee can help them understand that where they were lacking and what they can do better next time. And yes, of course, can company help them? Do they need some kind of training? Then we can also organize some kind of training program. Or you as an individual, if you feel you would like a mentor for yourself, you would like somebody to guide you, to be your coach, or you would like to attend some training programs, somewhere like MDPs, then also you can learn. You can just understand, you can just do it if you are having receiving the feedback. And the last step about the corrective actions, what kind of corrective actions are we talking about? So company can take the corrective action, as in if they feel that there is a performance gap for a lot of employees, then they might organize a training program. Or if they feel that there is a lot of gap, a person doesn't seem to be capable enough to continue with the job, then they might go ahead with the layoffs, looking at the performance of the employees. And otherwise, the other actions could be, or the positive rewards could be giving them promotion, giving them incentives, bonus, commission. But if not, then they have to take some corrective actions. So this is how the method, the process of performance appraisal goes in the organization. Okay, I hope no confusion. Moving ahead, we are going to discuss the methods of performance appraisal. Very important. So performance appraisal methods are divided into two categories. One is past oriented methods, and second one is future oriented methods. So what are the past oriented methods and what are the methods? See, these are the oldest techniques of performance appraisal. Past oriented methods are based on a trait oriented approach, wherein the performance of the employees is evaluated on the basis of established standards of traits or qualities of the employees, and some of the important qualities of the employees. So what are some of the important past oriented methods are? First one is confidential report. I just told you before some time. So in this method, a descriptive report is prepared by the immediate reporting authority of the employee being appraised, usually at the end of the year. So it is kept confidential, and the whole description will be written. Let's say you are an employee, then your senior will write a description about your performance, and depending upon that, you will be receiving the appraisals. Second one is essay method. In this method, an appraiser writes an essay or a short narration about the performance of the employee being appraised. So what they do is they write a short essay. The previous one was description, this is itself an essay. So a short narration about the performance of the employee being appraised. So that happens, that is called essay method. Third one is critical incidents method. So this is also one of the method in which an employee is appraised by taking the job related critical incidents and the related behavior of the employees into account. So what happens over here, job related critical incidents, any critical incidents related to job should be identified, and how did a person behave, that is very important. Now let's say you are trying to let me just give you a quick idea. See, one of the cities in Gujarat, one of the cities, like I think Rajkot, they just there one of the game zone, it was a small place, but it just caught fire, and almost 25 people died. Now including children, of course, young boys, and some family members. So 25, and there are a lot of debris still, so it is so I mean, some of them are missing. There were almost 70 to 80 people present in the game zone when this fire broke, and 25 people of course are declared dead and others are missing, so the search is still going on. Now I was just seeing one interview in which one of the survivor was sharing on media that they were somebody just came and said that on the ground floor fire has broken out, you guys run, and that's it. And then everybody ran. There was no members of from the staff, or there was nobody to help them out. So now, when this is a critical incident, this is not usual, this is something unusual. Now, if I was, let's say, appraising the performance, if I was doing the performance appraisal of one of the employees, right, then what will I write? There's nothing to write. But if, let's say, somebody was there to help them in a way that at least guide them, where is the emergency exit door, right, or where can they, how can they escape, or should they call the fire extinguishers, should they call some ambulance, they should do something, right? So then the idea was to understand that any job related critical incidents should be identified, and you should understand how did an employee behave actually, during that time. So next time, whenever I'm hiring a candidate or I'm giving them training, at least I will make sure that they possess those skills. They possess skills, as in what kind of skills? They will not panic, they will not run away, they will at least help people, they will at least call the responsible people so that the others can be saved, right? Or any such quick measures, quick decisions they should be able to take. So, in this kind of performance appraisal method, some critical incidents are identified, and then the related behavior of the employees are taken into account. Some other methods: checklist method. So, in this method, the appraiser provides a rating to the employee about his or her behavior at the workplace. So, there's checklist, number of traits are there, and you just put a checklist. So, the appraiser will just give the rating to the employees about the behavior. Then comes the forced choice method. This method requires the appraiser to provide rating to an employee from a set of descriptive statements. There are some descriptive statements, and out of that, appraiser will provide rating to the employee that, yeah, strongly agree, or agrees, or disagree, neutral, strongly disagree, like that. So it's a forced choice method. There is no description, but you have to choose one of the options. Next is paired comparison method. This implies it is a method in which the appraiser compares the performance of each employee with the other employees one at a time. The name is paired comparison, so there is some comparison happening in a pair, right? One employee's performance, let's say if there is an employee A, then employee A's performance will be compared with B, with C, with D, with E, F. Likewise for B, with A, C, D. So there is like whole paired comparison method happening. So each employee with the other employees at a time. And then whoever is better, of course, whoever is best will get the highest rating and highest performance appraisal. Next one is forced distribution method. So this method assumes that in this method the performance level of the employees is matched with a normal statistical distribution. Right? So there is some kind of statistical distribution involved wherein the employees are divided into some forced categories, and there some distribution happen wherein the performance level of employee is matched with even with the other employees. So that is called forced distribution method. Okay, I hope you read it. Now, see, future oriented methods we are talking about. So, with rapid changes in technology, appraisal methods in an organization have also got modified. Nowadays, organizations use various future oriented appraisal methods. Some of the future oriented methods are human resource accounting method, then MBO, management by objectives, then comes the assessment center, then comes 360-degree appraisal method, and then comes the bars, that is behavioral anchored rating scale. So some of the methods we will discuss. Okay, now what is human resource accounting method? See, human resource accounting is a process by which companies separately account for the amounts spent on HR. A report on this is submitted to the stakeholders. The cost will include salaries. So what are you doing? You are trying to do the accounting for individual employee. You are trying to maintain the accounts. Let's say that for this one particular employee, what is the cost incurred and what is the return that we have received, right? So depending upon that, it will automatically talk about the worth of an employee and the performance of the employee, whether it is worthy to keep that employee or not. So HR accounting is a process by which companies separately account for the amounts spent on HR. A report on this is submitted to the stakeholders. The cost will include salaries, benefits, recruiting costs, training expenses, taxes, etc., paid for employing people in the company. And calculating these costs can give an accurate picture of where human resources costs are high and where it is within the limit. It will help the company relocate employees to ensure their value compensates for the expenses. It also helps when the company thinks of reducing staff strength. So this is called HR accounting method, wherein the total of salaries, benefits, whatever recruitment costs, training, everything which is paid for employee, they will be calculating, and it will be compared with for whatever benefits the company is receiving. So that's how they can know about the performance of the employees. Please read this slide once. Now, what is management by objectives? See, it is a comprehensive and formal organization wide goal setting and appraisal program which requires, so it is like organization wide goal setting program, in which all you require is number one, first you do is set organization goals. After that, you set departmental goals. After that, you discuss the departmental goals. Then you define what is the expected results by setting individual goals. Then you conduct periodic performance review, and finally you provide performance feedback. Once again, I repeat: setting of organization goals, setting of departmental goals, discussion of departmental goals, defining expected results, then conducting in periodic performance reviews and providing performance feedback. So everything is very clear. Organization goals are clear, departmental goals are clear, your individual goals are clear, and then your performance is reviewed and then feedback is provided. So this is called MBO. It is very comprehensive. It is a good way of actually, because here the goals are very clear, so people know, employees know what they are supposed to achieve. Next one is assessment center. So this method is mainly used to evaluate executive and supervisory potential. Here employees are taken to a place away from work and a series of tests and exercises are administered. For example, assessees are asked to participate in basket exercise, simulations, group exercise, and role plays. So these are the activities which they go through, and because they are the assessment centers, so the idea is to assess their performance during these activities. Last point: performance of the employee is evaluated in each of these tests, and feedback is provided to the ratee in terms of strengths and weaknesses. So this is the assessment centers. Next, something which is very commonly used these days and something which is very important method is 360-degree appraisal method. So what is this method? A 360-degree appraisal is a holistic employee review process. It involves gathering the anonymous views and opinions of colleagues, managers, and direct reports, which is used to give an employee well-rounded and constructive feedback. So it's like a 360-degree appraisal, 360, the whole cycle, the whole circle. Whoever is involved, with you for work, everybody is giving review about you. Point number 3: this type of appraisal may also take insights from clients, from vendors, or consultants, providing they work regularly with the employee being reviewed. Now, all these appraisers, they provide information or feedback by completing a questionnaire designed for this purpose. So you share a questionnaire to them and ask them to fill the data, in which questions will be asked related to the performance of the employee, and that's how everybody will give the review about your performance. Your managers will give, your peers will give, your colleagues will give, your subordinates will give, your clients, your vendors, everybody will talk about you, and on the basis of that you will receive the appraisal, performance appraisal. Okay, again something which is very important is bars, which is used these days. What is the full form of bars? Behaviorally anchored rating scale. So from the name, let's break it. There is something called behavior, so we are trying to see the behavior, and there is a rating scale, so we are trying to rate your performance, right? So there is a scale. Let's say strongly agree, disagree, neutral, strongly disagree. There is a scale, and we are trying to rate your performance, your behavior. Actually, we are trying to rate the behavior. So this is behaviorally anchored rating scale method. Now, what is this method? In this method, the employee's behavior and performance dimensions are analyzed and used for evaluating the performance of the employee. Employee's behavior and performance dimensions are analyzed and used for evaluating the performance of the employee. The HR department is involved in the process of preparing the bars. So HR department is involved, how, in the process of preparing the bars. Based on the employee's performance and behavior, employees are anchored in different slots of good, average, and poor. So, depending upon your performance and your behavior, the employees will be divided into different slots. Some of them are good, some of them are average and poor, because there is some rating scale which is there. The rater is required to give corresponding ratings to the employee. So this is how it goes. Now let me show you some steps through which we can develop the bars in the organization. Please go through these steps.
Yeah, so now we're going to discuss how to develop bars, how to develop bars by, mostly it's done by HR. Now, see, what happens is there are 5 steps in preparing bars. Number 1, collect critical incidents. So first thing you do is try first collect all the critical incidents. Like I gave you one example of how fire broke out at one of the places, right? So that is a critical incident. Another could be, let's say that customer is you're working in a restaurant, and let's say that a customer is very aggressive because he or she saw fly in the food. Now person lost his temper and just slapped the waiter. So that is called critical incident. Then how did the waiter handle the situation? So like that, try to collect critical incidents. Then identify performance dimensions. You need to identify some performance dimensions, within the organization for which you want to rate them. After that, you need to reclassify the incidents. Now see, you won't be able to make use of all the incidents. That's why reconsider all the incidents once again, reclassify them into different categories. Some can be severe, some can be mild, some can be average. And then, since you've already identified the performance dimensions, performance dimensions means the qualities on which you're going to judge that person. For example, how did that person handle, like his behavior, like that. Then number 4, assign scale values. Now because it is rating scale, behaviorally anchored rating scale, so you are going to scale them. Again, put them into a score. 5 strongly agree, 4 agree, 3 neutral, 2 disagree, 1 strongly disagree, like that. And then last step, develop a final instrument. So this is how you can prepare bars. Once again, collect critical incidents, identify performance dimensions, reclassify the incidents, assign scale values to the incidents, and develop a final instrument. So this is how bar is formed. Bars is formed. Now let's see one example so that you can Next one is computer and web-based performance appraisal. Now, performance appraisal software program. So what these software does is they keep notes on subordinates during the year. They electronically rate employees on a series of performance traits and generate written text to support each part of the appraisal. So this is very easy. It's like software based performance appraisals. So system में data है already, and you can just use the data in rating the employees, electronically rating the employees, but all the information related to the employees will be there. These days there are some softwares, see, these are the famous organizations, Perform Yard, who provide these services. For example, if somebody is doing performance appraisal, then they don't have to do it manually by themselves, but they can outsource this exercise, they can outsource this activity. So if you see this is one person, Jenny Sherman, manager. Then all the details of this person will be there, right? PF review form, self evaluation form, goal review form, and उनका status क्या है वो भी है. Then feedback कितना है वो भी है. See, it's given how is the goal look like, 40% average goal completion. So that means it's right in front of you. It becomes so much easier to decide how much appraisal should this person be getting. See, this is another employee, consulting manager. उनकी भी सारी यहाँ पे चार्ट्स बने हुए हैं, परसेंटेजेस आर हियर, सबके रिव्यूज़ है, डेट्स हैं, एवरीथिंग इज़ वेरी क्लियर. सो इट बिकम सो मच ईजियर. दिस इज़ अनदर कंपनी, लीपसम करके है. सो दे हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग. सी, देयर ऑल द एम्प्लॉयज़ आर हियर. उनके सारे डायमेंशंस यहाँ ऊपर लिखे हुए हैं, राइट? और उनके सारे स्कोर्स लिखे हुए हैं, तो आपको पता चल जाता है विच इज़ हु इज़ हैविंग द हाईएस्ट स्कोर, हु इज़ हैविंग वेरी पुअर स्कोर, व्हाट टू डू अबाउट दोज पीपल नाउ हु आर हैविंग पुअर स्कोर. Give them another chance or send them out of the organization. There's another company called Intel HR. So they have this kind of format. I'm just showing you an example of how it is done online, how software based is done. Next one is Calidus. They have this kind of format. The next one is Sprig HR. I wish I could show the video. Anyway, link is given over here, but they have a different way of implementing effective performance improvement plan. But anyway, see if you can open this website yourself and then just check it out. There is this demo clip given over there just to know how they do. Okay, so that's it about the methods of performance appraisal. Now look at this linkage of performance appraisal with motivation at work. Can you please go through this slide? All right. I hope you read it. See, performance appraisal can serve as a motivator for employees. When employees receive feedback on their performance, it helps them understand what they are doing well and where they need to improve. Feedback can be positive or negative, but either way, it helps employees feel acknowledged and valued. When employees feel valued, they are more likely to be motivated to perform well in their jobs. The feedback received from performance appraisals can also serve as a basis for goal setting and development planning, which can further motivate the employee. So, it is very important. Performance appraisal definitely acts as a motivator at the workplace. It is very important, because without feedback, how can somebody know whether you're working correct or not, or what is the scope of improvement, right? So, it acts as a motivator. To ensure that performance appraisals are effective motivators, organizations should follow best practices. This includes setting clear expectations for employees, providing regular feedback, and ensuring that the appraisal process is fair and unbiased. Managers should also focus on providing constructive feedback that helps employees improve rather than simply pointing out their flaws, right? It should not be that I'm just telling you that, see, this is where you are lacking, that's why your score is less, and that's why you will not get a very great performance appraisals, very great appraisals. Instead of that, give some constructive feedback, how can they overcome the problems, who's going to help them next time, how can they be better. Finally, organizations should ensure that compensation is tied to performance and that employees are rewarded fairly for their efforts. Performance appraisal can be a powerful motivator for employees when conducted effectively. Regular feedback, fair and unbiased appraisals, and appropriate compensation are all important factors in keeping employees engaged and motivated. By following best practices and focusing on employee development and recognition, organization can use performance appraisal as a key driver for compensation success. And so these are like simple things that why it acts as a motivator. So yeah, it is up to the management, up to the HR to provide feedback, be fair, be unbiased, and give the appropriate compensation to all the employees. So with this, we are finishing uh, our module number 3. Okay, thank you. Let's begin with next module.